Now let us see this problem. So over here you can see that in the denominator we are having s minus 1 and we are having a quadratic factor. Now you might have observed the first problem. So in the first problem the denominator was cubic polynomial, and what we did is we expressed it as a product of linear factors. And how did we proceed for that? So actually we use the synthetic division. I hope this is visible to you. Let me just maximize it. Yeah, initially what did we do? We expressed this denominator, I have called it as f of s. We expressed it in this form, right? S minus 1 multiplied by a quadratic polynomial. So same thing is present here, right? Let me go down in our current example. Yeah, same thing is there in this example as well. So we are having a linear factor and a quadratic factor. Now just try to understand the difference. Okay, so in last problem it was possible for us to express this quadratic factor as a product of linear factors again, but the question is, can we do it again in this case? Can we express this as square plus 2s plus 5 as a as a product of linear factors? If we are able to do it, then this problem will be similar to what? The first problem. But how to decide it? That whether we are able to express this quadratic polynomial as a product of linear factor or not? And the answer to that question is simple. Just we have to calculate the discriminant b square minus 4ac. Now, let me just recall that concept. What is discriminant? Yeah. So, if we are having a quadratic polynomial ax square plus bx plus c, then d is equal to b square minus 4ac, right? It is called as the discriminant. And where does it come? It comes in the root of this quadratic polynomial. The form is minus b plus or minus under root of d upon twice a. So if this d is negative, okay, then we cannot express this f of x as a product of real linear factor. Okay, real word is important. Okay, yeah. So let us check whether in this case our b square minus 4ac is greater than 0 or less than 0. If it is greater than 0, then no issues. We can use we can express this as a product of what? Linear factors. Let us find it out. So my value of b is, so our quadratic polynomial is, we have, what is our quadratic polynomial? S square plus 2s plus 5. So this is our b and this is our c. So my d will be, and the value of a is 1. Okay, so my d will be 4 minus 4, 1 multiplied by 5, and that will be 4 minus 20, which is minus 16, which is less than 0. So we cannot express it as a product of real linear factors. So in such cases we look for a different partial fraction, which I have already told you. First of all, okay, so whenever we are having such type of a quadratic factor, we have already learned that our partial fraction is what? So for the first linear factor, the partial fraction is a upon s minus 1, and the for second one it is as plus, not, I cannot use a now because a is already used here. So a1s plus b1 upon this s square plus 2s plus 5. So if we are not able to express the quadratic factor as a product of linear factors, then we are having such type of a partial fraction. Now let us proceed. So as discussed earlier, this s minus 1 is a distinct linear factor. So the partial fraction corresponding to it, that is value of a, can be obtained directly. So here what will be our value of a? Now we are going to put s is equal to 1, but where? In this part, right? So if you put s is equal to 1, what I'll get? So put a is equal to 1 in star, I will say. Yes. Now we will multiply throughout by the denominator, that is s minus 1 multiplied by s square plus 2s plus 5. Now in order to get the values of a1 and b1, we have to put some values of s. Now you can see that if I put s is equal to 0, then I will get the value of b1, I suppose. Yes, so I will put s is equal to 0. So therefore 3 will be equal to, this will be 5 plus, this will be minus 1, this will be minus plus b1. So therefore 3 will be equal to 5 minus b, and therefore b will be equal to 2. So we got the value of b now. I'll call it as some double star. So we'll put the value of b in double star. Not b, it should be b1, right? Now can you guess the value of s for which we will get the value of a1? Notice that if I put s is equal to 0, so this term will be vanished out. So a1 will not be visible in the equation. I don't want that. And if I put s is equal to 1, still this quantity will be 0, the entire one. Again a1 will vanish. I don't want that. So let us think of other values. So can I put s is equal to minus 1? This is the question. And yes, because if I put s is equal to minus 1, a is in picture, right? Because this quantity will be minus 2 and you will have minus a1 over here. That is completely fine to us. So therefore we will put s is equal to minus 1. I hope you got my point, because if you put s is equal to 1, what will happen? This quantity will be 0, and 0 multiplied by anything will be 0. So we'll get 0 over here and we'll get nothing, right? Because as we want the value of a1, isn't it? So if I put s is equal to minus 1, let us see what we get. Therefore this minus 2 is equal to minus 1 plus 5, that is 4, plus this is 2a1 and minus 4. So minus 4 and plus 4 will get cancelled out. Therefore you will have minus 2 is equal to twice a1, and therefore a1 is equal to minus 1. So we got the value of a1. So I'll say put a1 and b1 in star. Now apply L inverse on both sides. Now we already know that the inverse Laplace transform of this is e raised to t, but the question is how to find inverse Laplace transform of this quantity, because we have not studied any standard formula for this. So I will leave this part as it is. So what we will do is we will solve next example and then we will come back to this example to find the inverse Laplace transform of this function, because there is one trick that we should use in order to find that. And this is an example. Now at first sight, if you see this example, then how to find inverse Laplace transform of this? Definitely the idea that will first come to your mind is the partial fraction, because the numerator has degree 1, denominator has degree 2, so all the conditions are satisfied. So one can easily say that we can use partial fraction. Then one fellow may think that shall we write it as a product of real linear factors, the denominator 1. But the problem over here is we cannot express the denominator as a product of real linear factors, because if we try to find the discriminant, what will be our discriminant? This will be value of b is minus 4, so it will be 16 minus 4, value of a is 1 and value of c is 13, and it is going to be negative. So the roots are complex, so we cannot express this denominator as a product of linear factors. So therefore naturally one may think of partial fraction of the type as plus b upon s square minus 4s plus 13. Now this is also not going to work, because our numerator is already of that form. Even if you try to solve this problem by partial fraction method, you will get the value of a to be 1 and value of b to be 2, because the coefficient of s over here is 1 and the constant term is 2. That's all. So you will get nothing by partial fraction. So the thing is, what to do in such type of problems? So over here we have to learn a method of completing a square. Now you will say, what is completing a square? So let us study it then. So in order to complete a square in this denominator, we should understand a formula. And which is that formula? A plus b whole square is equal to a square plus twice ab plus b square. Okay. So if we come across such type of equation, x square plus bx plus c, let us say, now over here we have to complete a square. So how to do it? Idea is simple. What do we do is x square plus bx. See the coefficient of x. Coefficient of x is b in this case. Divide it by 2 and add square of that and subtract square of that. Okay, what I am doing, whatever the coefficient of x is there, we are dividing it by 2 and we are adding square of that and we are subtracting square of that plus c. So which is equal to, now you might notice that this formula can be used to complete a square now in this case. Okay, and how can we use it? Now this can be written as x square. So I can divide by 2 and multiply it by 2 over here. So it will be twice b upon 2 x plus b upon 2 whole square and plus c minus b square upon 4. So don't worry about this constant term. Now just focus on this. So if you observe it properly, let me use different notations. So c plus d square is nothing but c square plus twice cd plus d square. So now x square is there, over here c square is there, no issues. Twice ab is also there. Okay, so you can see that x is present over here, its square is here. So over here c is there, its square is present over here, d is there, its square is here, 2 is also here. So x square is present here, now b by 2 square is present over here. So definitely we can complete a square, and this is equal to what? X plus b upon 2 whole square plus c minus b upon 2 whole square. Okay, so let me write this formula in a proper way. Therefore, what we have proved, this x square plus bx plus c can be written as x plus b by 2 whole square plus c minus b upon 2 whole square. And if we are having x square minus bx plus c, this will be equal to x minus b by 2 whole square plus c minus b upon 2 whole square. Now let us use this formula in this example. So this will be equal to s plus 2 upon, now we are going to complete a square in the denominator, but you might see that denominator is of this form. So according to this result, this will be s minus. Now what is the coefficient of s? That is 4. So divided by 2. So 2 will be left out. So s minus 2 whole square plus, now value of c is 13. So don't forget that 13 as it is, and minus what? The square of 2. And what is square of 2? It is 4 actually. So this will be equal to s plus 2. Let me write it here. S plus 2 upon s minus 2 whole square, and what is 13 minus 4? That is 9, which is further equal to. Now it does look familiar to us, because in the denominator we are having s minus 2 square, and this 9 can be written as 3 square. But numerator is a problem, because when can the shifting property use? If instead of s we are having s minus a. Now we are having s minus 2 over here, so naturally we should adjust that s minus 2 in the numerator as well. So see how we are going to adjust it. Now I will write s as it is, minus 2, right? In order to adjust it, I will give a bracket to it, plus 2 because I have subtracted 2, so I need to add that 2 as well, and this 2 as it is. So I will say plus 2. You can verify yourself. If this 2 and minus 2 are cancelled, then we'll get s plus 2 in the numerator once again, right? Upon, I will have s minus 2 whole square plus 3 square. So this will be further equal to s minus 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, upon s minus 2 whole square plus 3 square. Now you can separate the numerators. So this will be equal to s minus 2 upon s minus 2 whole square plus 3 square plus 4 upon s minus 2 whole square plus 3 square. Now it looks familiar, right? Now we will operate L inverse from both sides. So I will say now apply, therefore L inverse of s plus 2 upon s square minus 4s plus 13 is equal to L inverse of s minus 2 upon s minus 2 whole square plus 3 square plus that 4 can be taken out, L inverse of 1 upon s minus 2 whole square plus 3 square, which is equal to. Now you can see that if we replace s minus 2 by s, then we are getting a function whose inverse Laplace transform is already known to us. So we can use the shifting property. So by shifting property, this will be e raised to 2t L inverse of s upon s square plus 3 square plus 4 over here as well. I feel that if I replace s minus 2 by s, we are getting a function whose inverse Laplace transform is already known to us. So 1 upon s square plus 3 square. So which is further equal to. So what is inverse Laplace transform of s upon s square plus 3 square? Since in the denominator we are having plus, so it is sure that it is trigonometric, sine or cos. But in the numerator we are having s, so it means that it should be trigonometric cos only. So this will be e raised to 2t cos of 3t plus 4 times e raised to 2t. Now in the numerator here we are not having anything. It means it should be trigonometric sine. So it will be 1 upon 3 sine of 3t. And if we further simplify it, it is e raised to 2t cos of 3t plus 4 upon 3 e raised to 2t sine of 3t. And this is our required inverse Laplace transform of given function. Now let us go back. Now in order to find inverse Laplace transform of this, we need to complete a square in the denominator. So this will be L inverse of minus s plus 2 upon s. Now see coefficient of s. Coefficient of s is 2. So divide it by 2. So 1 is left. Also the sign is plus over here. So it should be s plus 1 whole square. This plus 5 as it is. And see this 1 actually. So we have to subtract square of that 1, right? So means minus 1 square. Okay. So which is further equal to e raised to t plus L inverse of minus s plus 2 upon s plus 1 whole square, and 5 minus 1 will be 4, which is 2 square, which is equal to e raised to t. Now you can see that in the denominator we are having s plus 1, so we need to adjust that s plus 1 in the numerator as well. So definitely we can adjust it. So this is minus s plus 1, right? So actually what I have done over here is, since I want s plus 1 in the numerator, actually I have subtracted minus 1, right? I have subtracted minus 1 and I have added 1 and this plus 2 as it is. Okay, so if you cancel 1 and minus 1, we'll get minus s plus 2 back, right, upon s plus 1 whole square plus 2 square, so which is equal to e raised to t plus L inverse of, now if I take minus sign out, it will be s plus 1, I am taking minus sign out from this first two terms, and 2 plus 1 will be 3, so plus 3 upon s plus 1 whole square plus 2 square, so which is further equal to, now separate the numerators, so this will be e raised to t plus L inverse of, inside the bracket, minus of s plus 1 upon s plus 1 whole square plus 2 square, plus that constant can be taken out, so L inverse of 1 upon s plus 1 whole square plus 2 square, so which is further equal to e raised to t plus, now this minus sign can be taken out, so if you want, I will take it here only, so this will be minus. Now you can see that if I replace s plus 1 by s, I am getting a function whose inverse Laplace transform is already known to me, so minus, it will be e raised to minus t, right, L inverse of s upon s square plus 2 square, shifting property, plus 3 e raised to minus t L inverse of 1 upon s square plus 2 square, which is further equal to e raised to t minus e raised to minus t, and L inverse of this will be what? Since it is plus in the denominator, it is trigonometric sine or cos, पण numerator मध्ये पण s आहे, in the numerator also we have s, it means it is trigonometric cos only, so it is cos of 2t plus 3 e raised to minus t, and this is sine now, so it is 1 upon 2 sine of 2t. So this will be equal to e raised to t minus e raised to minus t cos of 2t plus 3 by 2 e raised to minus t sine of 2t, and this is required inverse Laplace transform of given function.